So good evening. It's so good to see you guys. And I'm loving saying evening and seeing all this sunlight still streaming in. It's fantastic. So why don't we find a comfortable seated position where, if it's okay on the knees, the block is between your feet and you're seated up. You can also, as an alternative, bring the feet together and place the block on the back of the calves. That gives a little more freedom in the knees. So if there's knee discomfort, this may do it. If this is not at all comfortable, either one of these options, then by all means, go right ahead and sit in any cross-legged position, or any other seated position is fine. Even seated with legs extended is fine for this one. So all we're going to do is start off, we'll center in just a second, but we're actually going to stimulate our bellies first. And let's make fists. Then right at the top of your hip crease, on the sides of, just a little bit to the sides of the belly button, bring those fists in. Soften the shoulders. And then all we're going to do is lean forward a bit. And you'll feel a gentle squish in the belly. You don't have to feel discomfort or pain. You don't have to go very far. And you may feel the low back start to open. And ideally, the head will start to clear a little bit. May not be foggy. It may not need to clear. So when we stimulate our digestive system, all the toxins start releasing from every part of our body, which is always a mind clearer, a brain clearer. So even though we have hands and belly, just close the eyes for the next minute or so and picture with your mind's eye some space being cleared across the brain in all directions. Just with your mind's eye and with your thought self, I feel my brain being detoxed. Self, I feel my brain being detoxed. Self, I feel my brain being detoxed. And slowly and gently inhale up, release the hands. We want to come out safely for the knees. So we're literally going to come forward onto hands and knees so that you can, I'm just turning sideways so you can see me, so you can extend one leg and then the other, just taking a moment to curl the toes under and just go back and forth a few times so that the knees feel released and free. And then once again, perhaps seated up on the block, or not if you prefer not, let's find our way to our comfortable seated position. Let's continue to stimulate and clear by bringing the tips of 4 fingers right to the thumb, balancing all elements, closing the eye. Self, I notice my sits bones grounding into Mama Earth. Self, I feel my sits bones going deeper and deeper into Mama Earth. And then self, I notice the life force starting to flow upwards. That up of energy from Mama Earth through the spine creates tingling in top of head. The crown chakra opens out in all directions, and the heavens respond by sending love right in. You feel a heavenly hand pulling us upwards at the same time the hips are rounding down. And we notice that space in the brain, the detox in the brain that we already started. I'm going to continue it for a few more moments by gently humming so that you feel the hum inside the skull. And whenever you're ready, you just begin. It's just a simple hum. And just pause in the silence for a few moments. Slowly and gently releasing the mudra from the hands. Notice sensations there. Slowly and gently allowing the eyes to open. And then slowly and gently allow the legs to extend. Let's just slowly circle those toes in one direction for a few moments. Still feeling that yummy peace and that the brain is clear. And then slowly and gently going the other way. Good. So let's stay seated upward is a little bit better to prevent the spine from rounding. Let's just go right into dragonfly, allowing our legs to release easily out to the sides, fingertips coming forward. If you've got more to come forward, perfectly fine. You could stay more upright like I am, perfectly fine. So when we focus on the brain itself, we do know is there's so much out there now about brain health, and we're seeing science after science coming through to show how yoga and meditation can help stimulate all different areas of the brain, keeping our brain healthier. And so when we bring that attention there, we know that the brain does get kind of a plaque all over it, just like our teeth do. So that's kind of the image we can think about to think about clearing that brain of that plaque. And so while we're in this posture for the next few moments, we've got our crown chakra a little above our head. And remember the old days where we'd pat the top of the head and circle your belly? Well, this is the opposite of that. This is thinking of energy circling the top of the head. And if you just want the stimulation for a moment, just watching that you don't knot your hair, just kind of take a hand on top of the head and kind of circle it in one direction so that you feel that energy. And then just remaining in this dragonfly position, when you feel like you've got it and you can close your eyes and you still feel that spinning, it's cleaning the plaque out of, so think of it almost like a toothbrush, cleaning plaque, a spinning toothbrush off your brain. You You can release the hands, close the eyes, and just keep focusing. Self, plaque is released from my brain. Plaque is being released from my brain. Self, plaque is being released from my brain. Notice how with the thoughts you can literally feel your brain. Going for the next minute inside the brain, self, deep inside, I feel the plaque scrubbing away, dropping away from my brain. Slowly and gently inhaling up, softly opening the eyes so that the gaze is down towards the floor. And just pause for a moment, noticing sensations. Good. So we're doing a lot of nothing tonight. That's everything. So let's take that right leg. We'll keep the left leg exactly as it is. And let's place the foot on the earth in what is a somewhat comfortable position. The knee will probably not make it all the way into the armpit, but we might want to lean a little towards the leg as if and you can move the foot around till you go, oh yeah, that's it. I can stay here a little bit. So there's a slight lean to the right. The knee is towards the armpit. You're getting the back of the arm, a little pressure there. And there's a slight opening in low back here. And then this left arm, just relax it, however it feels good. And as we just hang out here for a few moments, we're going to get a really gentle opening in the low back on this left side. So this is a total nothing, but a lot will happen. That looks good. And I find the further I push the foot out, the actual more comfortable this is. It's just kind of soft. So the foot can be out at a little bit of a diagonal. So Judy, if your foot goes towards me a little bit, and I think that away. Let's see. I've got the other way. I'm sorry. Maybe the other way. Yeah, there we go. How's that feel? A little bit better? Just give me a thumbs up. Good. That's it. And Patsy, what if your foot comes out from your body just a couple more inches? Does that ease it just a hair? Good. And allow this a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. A little more leaning. This is subtle. We've been here about a minute now. So the next 2 minutes, it will start to open up. And it's just like, what are we doing? We're not doing anything. Head and neck are comfortable. And then we start to notice the little sensation back here in kidney. We bring the thought inside the mouth to the roof of the mouth. We're getting tingling in the arm that we're leaning on. That's normal. Pins and needles are okay. And it's okay to allow the lips to gently part while we I notice for for the next minute and a half, the roof of my mouth. Self, the roof of my mouth softens. Slowly and gently allow the eyes to open, just looking down at the earth. And then just inhale the torso back to the neutral. Pause for the whoosh while your spine is upright. And we are going to do the other side, but let's recover first. It will feel delicious when you're ready. Just to bring the legs in a little bit, maybe come off the block, maybe stay on the block, just windshield wiper. And again, let the arm come back from its pins and needles. Good. And when you're ready, return to the block. Again, let the legs release out and dragonfly. Just pause for a moment. And notice perhaps that this is an easier position now than it was when we started. And then let's take this left leg. Let's place the foot on the earth. It's a little bit of an angle out from the hip. The toes are kind of pointing diagonally away rather than straight forward. And then we lean a little bit so the back of the arm is on the knee. And it might be different than the other side. It may not be as far. Yeah, and this arm can be softly bent. It can be out. It's however it feels comfortable. This other arm is just relaxed. It's just this little lean that opens up here. And as we're here, notice how that relaxation at the roof of the mouth has allowed the jaw to soften. So we've cleared the plaque from the brain. We're releasing the upper palate, which is connected. There's 54 energy centers that connect to every area of the body that we've just released with that. And now let's bring the thoughts to the eyeballs themselves and all the way around the eyeballs, even deep in the back of the eyeball. So just closing the eyes. Self, I'm aware of my entire eyeball. And I'm aware of the muscles, every muscle all around my eyeballs. Self, I soften all the tissues on every area around my eyeballs. And self, I soften all the way deep inside my eyeballs. Self, my entire eyeballs, inner and outer, soften. Gather energy in the belly. Slowly inhale the torso back to neutral. Absolutely no rush. When you're ready, just slowly windshield wiper the legs. Lean back a little. Just enjoy. So in just a moment, we're going to do a sweetly twisted melting heart. We've not done this one. We've done a twisted child's, but we haven't done a twisted melting heart. So I'm going to show you straight on first so that you see the back of the head and the shoulders. Because often when we do a twisted child's, we move the torso over. And so I want us to not do that. So in a twisted melting heart, in a moment, I'll have you come forward and the forehead will come down. And then I'll just say, bring one arm under. But notice how I'm not moving the torso. I'm just bringing the arm under, palm is up. And then the shoulder starts to come down. There's actually no weight in the shoulder. It's actually back in the hips. So that prevents that from being too much on the shoulder. All right, so we'll come to the hands and knees. We'll have the hips back just a couple inches so that we don't put too much weight on the shoulders. We'll glide those hands forward and we'll allow the belly to drape onto the top of the thighs. Let's start with that left arm and let's just bring it under, palm up, and then just bring the side of the head to the earth, draping the forearm of the right arm on the earth. Good. Ideally, there's not too much weight here. It's just a nice little amount. And then we close the eyes and notice how the side of the head is melting into Mama Earth. And notice how this right side of the head is melting in the earth. And notice how there's a line of energy that goes over the top of the head and actually starts to soften the opposite side of the head. So it's just self. I soften both sides of my head. Self, the muscles, the ligaments, the bones, the tissues, soften on both sides of my head. Slowly and gently, lift up just enough to glide the arm out from underneath. Then sink the hips towards the heels. Bring both arms by your sides, just melting in an infant's or a child's posture for just a couple breaths. Good. And slowly and gently just inhale up for a moment and just notice the effects of that. Mamma mia. Ideally, you're feeling that all the way down into the waist on that one side. So we're going to do that same opening on the other side. And again, there's very little weight on this arm. If it starts to be too much weight on the arm that's under, shift the hips further back. Okay? So we come again to hands and knees. We shift the hips back just a couple inches. We walk the hands a bit forward. We start to soften, feeling the belly towards the upper thighs. And then we're going to take the opposite hand that we did before. So ideally, that's the left hand this time. It just goes under. Palm is up, and then we just soften the side of the head onto the earth. Good, good, great. The jaw softens. So I bring my attention to the side of the head. There's our Mama Earth. So I notice the side of my head softening. And so I notice the line of energy from that side over the top of the head to the other side. And so I notice both sides of my head letting go. Slowly and gently pushing into one hand to unfurl, sinking the hips, bringing the arms by your sides. Just rest a couple breaths in a child's. Slowly and gently inhale up. Notice all the yumminess from that. Woo! Oh, ribs have expanded. The back of the waist is let go. Ah. So the angels are suggesting we do everything else on our backs. So good. I'm seeing a nice response for that. So let's find our way, no rush, onto our backs, knees bent, feet flat. Just pausing here for a minute. Oh, just feeling how good this feels. And just feel Mama Earth below you. Now, we were going to do a gecko, which we can actually do reclined. So let's take this right leg and let's bring it in and bring the sole of the foot towards the sky. But let's not put pressure on our knee today. Let's be very soft. Let's take that right hand behind the thigh, bring the thigh a little bit outside of the rib cage. Just let the foot float up in the air, and then the back of the leg is getting relaxed. You can notice that maybe even be like mine is the back of my arm is on the earth. It's a very easeful thigh, slightly outside the ribs coming down. Now, if it's easy for your body and you're missing that opening in the front of the left leg, just extend that left leg long on the earth. Now, if the knee's a little bent, that's okay. If you like that opening, just go right ahead. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now, sometimes once I've been here for a few moments, I bring the other hand behind the thigh of this leg that's pulled in and just interlace the fingers. That's a little more easeful. And then the weight of what in this case is the left hand pulling down a little bit helps keep me from rolling over. So as the leg gets heavy, it wants to roll you onto your side. Good. So nice and easeful. And then we bring the attention to the back of the skull. And we feel how the back of the skull is pressing into Mama Earth. Self, the back of my head, the back of my brain. Just cleaning, clearing, and softening. Self, all the tissues inside the back of the head, outside the back of the head, becoming clean, clear, and soft. Gather energy in the belly. If that left leg is extended, just glide the heel on the earth until the foot is flat on the earth, the knee is bent. Taking all the time in the world, start to extend the leg we're holding, the right leg, extend it up towards the sky. Now that may mean that it comes a little further away from you. That's perfectly fine. And point those toes and flex the foot. And point the toes. And flex the foot. And then here we go. We point the toes the final time. We release the leg, and still having the opposite leg, knee bent, foot flat on the earth, lengthen the leg long away from you and let it float all the way slowly down onto the earth. And just pause a moment and notice how long this right side of the body is. And then all we're going to do is this left leg, the knee that's up to the sky, just outer rotate that so it just flows out to the side. Hands can be on the belly, they can be out to the sides, they can be overhead. This is a half butterfly, half reclining butterfly. And just breathing right here, enjoying. Self, my ears soften. Self, I release my inner ears and my outer ear. Self, my ears, let go. Slowly and gently. Gather energy in the belly and bring your left hand outside that left thigh, the half butterfly leg, and just bring the sole of the foot again to the earth. Pause right here for a few moments. Good. Now we're going to slowly and gently turn this into a sweet twist. So first, just relax the arms straight out from the shoulders or overhead or down a little bit, just where the shoulders feel good. Take this left leg, this bent leg, and place the foot on top of the thigh, or on top of the knee, wherever it feels good. And now just roll towards the right, just a bit. Good, and head can roll towards the left. And the heel or the toes or something still touches the elongated leg. And just closing the eyes, you both look great. Bringing the attention to the jaw. Self, my entire jaw. Let's go. Self, my jaw releases.
3 more long, full, deep, absolutely gorgeous breaths right here. No rush. When you've completed the third breath, bring the head back to neutral. Start to slide onto your back, sliding the foot off the leg, lengthening the leg onto the earth. Take forever to bring the arms by your sides. Rest for a few breaths in Shavasana before we do the other side, and just drink this yumminess in. Taking all the time in the world, slowly and gently bend the knees, placing the feet flat on the earth. Make sure your low back feels comfortable. You might need to just gently tuck under, and just pause here for a moment as the back settles once again. So we're going to do that gecko variation on the back. So this time it's the left leg that comes in, and we interlace the fingers kind of behind the knee towards that side of the thigh. We soften the shoulders. The foot goes up towards the sky as if we are in gecko. The thigh comes a little tiny bit outside the rib cage. Good. You're both looking great. Shoulders are soft. If it calls to you to extend that right leg towards the earth, feel free to do that. That'll give you the slight opening in the opposite hip. It's immaterial whether the leg is straight or not. Just extend it if it feels comfortable to a position that feels good. Both look great. Slowly and gently gather energy in the belly. Glide that right heel on the earth until that right foot, knee is bent, foot flat on the earth. Start to point the toes of that left leg and allow the leg to reach up to the sky, nice and long, which means you may not be able to hold it anymore. And then flex the foot back towards your face. Point the toes towards the sky. Flex the foot again towards the face. Point the toes towards the sky and extend the leg long, and then extend it long and away from you so that it floats down onto Mama Earth, and just let it go. Let it relax. This bent right leg, we turn into a half butterfly merely by releasing it out to the side. An outer rotation, you may need to adjust your foot a bit up or down so that it feels really steady and comfortable for you. Arms are in any position that feels good. Might be sides, might be overhead, might be hands flat on the belly. So if I bring my attention to the back of my neck, so if I bring my attention to right where the skull and the neck itself connect, so the back of my neck completely lets go. So the skull and the neck, where they connect, all the tissues there soften and melt. So my head and my entire neck release. Ever so slowly and gently, glide the right hand outside the bent thigh, the half butterfly thigh. Gently push it upwards so the foot is flat on the earth. Just pause here for a couple of breaths. And just very easily picking up that right foot and placing it on the top of the opposite leg. Maybe it's calf, maybe the arch of the foot is gently over the knee, maybe it's thigh. It's wherever it just kind of comes and can just kind of stay there without pressing, allowing the arms to release in a comfortable position for the twist. And then just allowing the leg to roll towards the left. Not going too far, just to a comfortable position, and the head releases right. Just breathing here. Enjoy. So I bring attention to the front of my throat, front of my neck, at the throat. So all the way from under my chin, down the front of the neck, all the way down to the upper chest. Softens. Soft my neck and throat. Release. ever so slowly and gently, allowing yourself to come back to neutral, placing the foot on the earth, gliding the leg long, gliding the arms by your sides, palms up. Head is in a neutral position. Just allow yourselves to melt into your Shavasana. There is absolutely nothing left for you to do but to just let go.
ever so slowly and gently. Feel yourselves returning to the body by gently wiggling the fingers and wiggling the toes. Absolutely no rush. Take all the time in the world to roll the head one way. Slowly and gently rolling it the other. And when you are ready, reaching fingers to toes in a good evening stretch. And bringing one thigh in towards the chest, then the other. Just give those thighs a sweet, gentle hug. And when you are ready, rolling onto the right side in a fetal position, just pausing there. Slowly and gently pushing up to a comfortable seated position. Just pausing here. Slowly and gently bring your palms together at heart center. It is always a pure pleasure and indeed my honor to share this practice with both of you. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste. Slowly end the class, and as always, you may disappear if you choose. If you just want to stay all yummy,